Hello, this is Evan with my tiny workshop. I wanted to share, this is my USA made Dake Arbor press. Here is the model. I do a variety of tasks with this piece here, with this piece of equipment. First thing I did though is this is a 1-inch ram. I drilled and tapped, I removed it with these 4 bolts. Drilled and tapped up into the ram for 1/2-inch fine thread, which accepts my keyless drill chuck. You could drill and tap it to whatever diameter you need to just suit your needs. But what I found with it's been such a versatile tool now, because when I'm hole punching leather, I can just put my punch into it. I can, in a variety of sizes. I can also put my maker's mark stamp into it to impress into leather for the work that I do. By the way, my leather business is EK Leatherworks. You can find my business page on Facebook and also several ads on Marketplace. And I am in Oregon. Something else that I've done is I've created all of these different blocks. Some with holes in the center, some white Delrin, some black, some with holes, some without, and then some aluminum plates, as well as a thicker Delrin, larger Delrin plate that I can punch into different things. If I am using die cutters, I will only use one of these two. This is kind of my workhorse. You can see that it's been used quite a lot. So I try to not use other ones for dies. But this gives me a whole variety of things that I can do. Or if I want to press a shaft or press a bearing, I have the space to do it. I can put a punch into the chuck. I can press. I can also put other fixtures in here and do the same thing. Another thing that I do with the Arbor press is I made this little piece that clamps to the ram. So just 2 through bolts. I machined these aluminum blocks. I tighten these 2 bolts. It clamps to the ram. And then I just quickly welded up these bars at 2 different sizes. And I can make others for different diameters that I want to play with. But what I also did was I took this very hard piece of wood and machined all these different diameters or half diameters of spaces into them. This, and then I did on both sides, accounting for like offsetting them so that I retained as much thickness as possible into the block so that it's quite strong. This has been useful for me for many years, and you can see it's got a lot of wear. But what I've done with it is I also make jewelry, and I've been able to form rings through pressing this or this shape into a particular diameter here. And then I will slowly work my way down to smaller and smaller if it's a ring, or if I'm making a bracelet, I can do the same thing here with some of these larger ones. This has proven to be such a great tool. The Arbor press may have only started out as, for pressing shafts and bearings and things like that, but it can be so much more. It's quite a tool to have in your workshop. You can do so much with it. And just because I have just these does not mean that you cannot make far more. You could, if you have a specific job that you want to do, you can build something like this, diameter that you want, and machine, a semicircle like this into whatever piece. Whether it's aluminum, I just chose wood because I didn't want to mar up the silver that I was making rings and bracelets out of. So this worked quite well. I didn't want to scar it on the edges, things like that. I wanted to conform nicely. So, in realizing that I made this block probably 10 years ago, and yes, it's worn and it has the scars, but it still works amazingly well. Also, you don't have to machine this out of with a milling machine. As you can see, these center point marks, these were cut with Forstner bits in just a drill press. You don't need a milling machine. You don't need end mills that diameter, a cheap set of Forstner bits, and a block of wood is all you need to make that happen. And then you can see I marked what they are. For the most part, some of them were off, but roughly you get an idea of what diameter they are. And then with a ring sizing gauge, I can, once I get it down to a close diameter, then I can put the ring sizing gauge into the ring and know just how much more I need to take off or shrink it. And that's when I get down to these smaller sizes. It works really, really well. If you have any suggestions, comments, please leave them. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. And I will do my best. Have a good night, everybody.